guys, welcome back to the Shannon Show. Hello if you're new. So today's video is going to be my thoughts on the Midnight Sun release, the prequel to the Twilight series where we get to see things from Edward's perspective. Feel free to comment down below on your thoughts on my commentary. I'm always up for a little chat, I'm always up for a debate. And if you like this video, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike, no hard feelings. Yeah, let's get into it. I think we should start at the very beginning, which is 2008. She was writing this book and then the manuscript got leaked. I think it was a chapter or something like that. And she decided that she was not going to continue writing the book, and she basically said that she wasn't going to write it. She was really mad about the leak. She kind of left the door open, but it was very much of like, it's unlikely I'm going to continue it. I haven't actually been waiting for 12 years. I've been waiting for 8 because I decided to read the books after I watched the movies. I prefer to do it that way if I can. Let me know, how many years have you been waiting? Have you been waiting the full 12 years? Did you start reading the books as soon as they were released, or did you wait till after the films to watch them? Or are you somebody who hasn't actually been waiting that long? You just kind of got into the books a couple years ago. I'd be interested to know. So for me, my experience of disappointment was slightly different because after I had read the books, I didn't know that this Midnight Sun was actually on the table. So then when I was looking up to see if there was a sequel of some sort for the books, there was one spin-off book with Bree, I believe her name was, one of the people that were part of the Volturi army. So I was looking up to see if there was going to be any other books. So obviously I'm looking up for the books, and I see an article about Midnight Sun from the perspective of Edward. So I read the article and I'm like, okay, this is good. When's it coming out? And obviously the article was 2008. So I was like, okay, this is probably already out. And then what do you know, I find the article about Midnight Sun being cancelled. And, you know, every year or so, I'd always check in to see if she had changed her mind. Obviously in 2013 she did an interview with Variety and she basically said that she was over the situation. She didn't want to deal with Twilight anymore. So after I read that article, I kind of just accepted defeat. I kind of just thought that we were never going to get it. And you know, there was some debate with the fandom because a lot of people felt like, why should the whole fandom be punished because one person leaked the manuscript? And you know, I can kind of see both sides, because for me as a reader who wanted to check out this Midnight Sun book and really wanted to see what was going up in Edward's head, I was disappointed that the book was cancelled. And I just kind of thought, because it was only one chapter, was it really that deep to cancel the whole book? But then at the same time, when you've dedicated your life so much to this book, I'm guessing at that point she had gotten tired of the book. She had gotten tired of promoting the book. She got tired of having to write this book and having the publishers hound her down and say, the fans want this book, hurry up and write this book. So when that happened, I think that was her breaking point to say, I've had enough of Twilight. Because you can have a project and you can love it at the beginning, and then by the end of it you could absolutely hate it. So I feel like I get both sides. But what did you kind of think? Were you kind of content with the material that Stephanie had given us? You know, the films had ended, it was the end of an era, we'll leave it at that? Or were you kind of just like, you were disappointed and you feel like Stephanie was being a bit extra? Let me know what you think. Yeah, and then in 2015 she released Reimagined, which is kind of like the gender bender scenario where they kind of switched roles and Bella was the vampire and Edward was the mortal. I actually didn't read that book because I was just kind of like, this is not what I wanted. I wanted Midnight Sun. Like, I don't care about this whole gender swap thing. I really don't. So I didn't read that, but I was actually going to pick it up before lockdown, and I'm so mad that I didn't go to the library before lockdown to get some books to read. And when the library opens again, I'm definitely going to go and read that. But yeah, let me know if you would recommend that or whether I'd just be wasting my time reading that. There was also an interview the same year because obviously 50 Shades of Grey, the author for that wrote it from two perspectives. She wrote it from Anastasia's perspective and then Christian's perspective. And Stephanie made a statement basically saying, like, she flipped the table. I guess that was kind of insinuating that, you know, that was her idea first. She didn't go through with it, and she saw how successful it was for E.L. James. So again, teasing us again. And then obviously last week, up on her website, people were saying, oh, there's this countdown, she's going to announce something, and people were speculating, is it going to be the host? Is it going to be the Midnight Sun? But I think more people were leaning towards a host sequel, because from what Stephanie Meyer had put out into the media, I'm guessing most of us assumed that the Midnight Sun dream had sailed. You know, she was over Twilight. That was a nice, you know, she's closed that chapter in her life. So I didn't stay up for the announcement. I just kind of wrote it off like, it's not going to be Midnight Sun, so I don't really care about it. And then what do you know, on Twitter, Midnight Sun is trending. So I was just like, has she released it? Is she announcing that she's starting to write it up again? And then obviously I checked the announcement, and it was a whole book cover, and it's coming out on the 4th of August. I was hoping that if it was the Midnight Sun, it would be a thing where you could just order it straight away. You know, August just seems so far away, but it's probably just going to whiz past. Like, it's like less than 2 months away now. Yeah, no, it's 2 months now exactly today. It's like 2 more months, but I guess, realistically, some of us have been waiting 12 years for this book, so what is 2 months, really? I heard that the website crashed, which is very funny. I feel like all of the Twilight army came together. Like, there were so many of us. I still remember Twitter the day Breaking Dawn was in the cinema. Like, we were a literal army. But yeah, I'm definitely going to cop it. I might see if I can get it on press, but if I can't, I'm just going to cop it, definitely. So yeah, I'm definitely happy that Stephanie Meyer finally released this book. You know, she's kept us waiting a long, long time. And it's just some great news to hear, especially in the times that we're living in quarantine. I'm sick of it. And this was some news that I'm generally happy and excited about. So I think the first thing we should talk about is the cover of the book. I thought it was quite interesting that it had a pomegranate. I know you guys are gonna. Is it pomegranate? Is it pomegranate? Pomegranate. Wait, come for my pronunciation. I'm not gonna lie. In normal life, I say pomegranate, and I know it's pomegranate, but I'm so used to saying pomegranate. This is what I say. I know it's pomegranate though. Which I thought was quite interesting, because obviously the first Twilight book had an apple on it. I'm not really sure what it's meant to represent though, like a pomegranate. Or what is it meant to represent, guys? Because, you know, I've read the books twice, but it's been like a while since I've read the books. I'm probably going to reread them before I read this one. But there wasn't any reference to pomegranate. And I know the apple is probably, and I know the apple was initially meant to represent like temptation and stuff, because of the whole, relationship, the whole dangerous relationship. But I'm not sure what the pomegranate represents. Maybe it's because, I'm not even sure if they're in the same family, apples and pomegranate, but I'm guessing it represents that this story is going to be different. It's going to be a different tone, maybe. But yeah, has anyone got some type of like analytical analysis of why she's chosen to put a pomegranate on the cover of the book? Let me know what you think. So the publisher for the book, Little Brown, published a little kind of teaser / description of like the book blurb, and this is what it is. I'm going to read it out. So it says, it has a little paragraph at the beginning, but that's kind of just irrelevant. So I'm just going to start from here. So it says, the unforgettable tale told through Edward's eyes takes on a new and decidedly dark twist. Interesting. Meeting beautiful, mysterious Bella is both the most intriguing and unnerving event he has experienced in his long life as a vampire. As we learn more fascinating details about Edward's past, and the complexity of his inner thoughts, we understand why this is the defining struggle of his life. How can he let himself fall in love with Bella when he knows he is endangering her life? In Midnight Sun, Stephanie Meyer transports us back to a world that has captivated millions of readers in drawing on the classic myth of Hades and Persephone. Brings us an epic novel about the profound pleasures and devastating consequences of a mortal love. Interesting. I think what stands out for me is this whole dark twist and us finding out about Edward's past and his inner thoughts. It's just going to be weird because obviously for most of us who've read the book, when you think about Twilight, you think about it in what you imagined Bella's voice is in your head. And I think it's definitely going to be weird reliving that story through Edward's head, because I guess we don't really know for sure what's going on in his head, because we have a pretty good idea what's going on in Bella's head because we've read 3 books through her perspective. But Edward's always had this kind of mystery about him. So I don't know, I feel weird about now unraveling this mystery. I think what my hopes are for the book, what it's going to include, is maybe some backstory, so some will get to see bits of his past before Bella, obviously, but like when I say before Bella, I mean like, you know, hundreds of years ago. He's meant to be like 119. He's like basically over 100. So it'd be interesting to hear what his life was in that 100 years. Did he have any other love interests? That would be interesting. And also the family dynamic. I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see a film about Alice. I feel like Alice is such an interesting character. So if Stephanie is to do another kind of Twilight-y based book, I feel like she should do a book on Alice. And I'd be interested to hear if Stephanie was to do a book on another character, who do you think it should be? I think definitely Alice, and then possibly Jacob as well would be my options. And another aspect that I hope that it touches on is where he was when he went away, when he left Bella, when Bella was going through that depression without him. Where the hell did he go? And also his mindset of him leading up to him going to the Volturi to try and kill himself. I really hope that we get to see his state of mind then, and the build up to that state of mind to the point where this vampire wants to kill himself. And also what he actually thinks about Jacob. Is he just purely jealous of him, or does he actually hate him, or does he kind of admire him? I think that is something that I want to be addressed in this book, definitely. Yeah, were you team Edward or team Jacob? You know what, I kept switching back and forth between team Edward and team Jacob. I feel like I was team Edward the first film, and then when Jacob beefed up in the second film, I was like, okay, maybe I might just have to, switch back and forth. And then by the last one, I like them both. Like, I'd have them together like as a train. I'm team train. I'm not team Edward or team Jacob. I'm team train. And another thing that I really want to know is what Robert smelled when he smelled Bella. What did she smell like? Did she smell like a juicy barbecue? Did she smell like flowers and strawberries? What did she smell like? I want to know. So hopefully that's addressed in the book. I'm sure it will be. But yeah, I still feel weird about being up in Edward's head. Obviously, I know I've already seen some bits on Twitter, and I'm gonna do the whole Twitter section. People making jokes that Edward wouldn't want to be forced into another film, or Edward, when he realizes he might need to be in another film. I don't think it will work. Obviously, there's advancements with CGI now. You can make people look younger. Can we trust Twilight with CGI? I love the films, but I don't even know. When I was watching the film, I didn't realize how bad the CGI was for Renesmee. So yeah, I just think any kind of de-aging CGI will be. But anyway, we know that's not going to happen. We know for damn sure that Robert Pattinson is not coming back, and we know that Kristen Stewart is definitely not coming back either. Taylor Lautner would probably come back, but but I was thinking perhaps potentially a film, obviously all from Edward's perspective, but with a new cast. But new casts are always really risky. I feel like I would be here to see a film. But what do you guys think? Do you think we should just leave the Twilight legacy how it is? Or would you be down for a new cast, but to have a film based on Edward's perspective? Let me know. And if you would be down for that, who would be your dream cast? I don't know if I could say right now who my dream cast would be, because I literally just thought of this at the top of my head. But yeah, let me know who your dream cast would be if they were to do a kind of reboot of Twilight with a whole new different cast, if they were going to do things through Edward's perspective. Let's ride the hashtag. Let's see what the people are saying. So on Twitter, I've seen something really funny. It said, somebody tweeted, Edward Cullen literally died in a pandemic and now he returns while we were in the middle of one. That's iconic. And it took me a minute to get it, but obviously he died of influenza in the influenza pandemic in his time, 100 or so years ago. And then that video, I know you guys have seen that video or that TikTok of that guy dancing to Bella's Lullaby. Honestly, iconic track. Yeah, there's a lot of the fandom coming out to resuscitate. People are saying their Twilight phase is coming back. Honestly, my phase never left. Like, every time we have a movie night, I'm always like, let's watch Twilight. And I know people are sick and tired of me. Like, I literally watched the films like 10 times, like, no joke. Honestly, I don't care what anyone says. Like, Twilight is like the best love story ever. I don't care what anyone says. I love the books. I love the films. Like, they're in my top 5. Honestly, it's a cinematic masterpiece. I don't care what anyone says. And I forced my friend to watch it as well because she was refusing to watch it. And she kept saying, you know that line, still a better story than Twilight. She kept saying that, and I was like, sorry, you actually have no permission to say that without watching the films. So I forced her to watch the films. She actually said it was all right. So yeah, I've been out here evangelizing, guys, spreading the good words. People are saying that Stephanie Meyer saved 2020. I think she definitely saved it for me. Like, this is literally my highlight of 2020. People are pointing out that it's going to be 672 pages. I forgot to mention, but yeah. That's like basically 2 books. But it's meant to be just based on Twilight, I believe. I've been seeing multiple articles that was like, it's going to be based on everything. But I'm pretty sure it's only going to be based on the first book. But if anyone could clarify in the comments if I've got that wrong, do let me know. I feel like there should be more than one book, in my opinion. I mean, I'd be satisfied with just the one, but I feel like there should definitely be 3 books. So hopefully if this one is a success, which I know it will be. So hopefully once she sees the coins rolling back in, she'll write another one. And people are pointing out that she's basically released Twilight 3 times now. Queen of marketing. You know what, it is a little bit cheeky, but you know what? I can read. Stephanie Meyer's writing is just so good that I don't mind at all. But yes, I'm here for it. It was the right decision by Stephanie. Like, honestly, I'm just, she really made us wait, like, a long time. Like, I was just like, I fully thought that this book was just never going to come. It was just going to be an urban legend. I was just going to be like, every 2 years, like, oh, damn, I wish she released that book. I wish she never got hacked. But now it's finally reality, August 4th. So I'm definitely going to cop the book, do a review for it on this channel. I might do a dramatic reading on this channel as well. I was thinking about doing a dramatic reading series on this channel, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this Midnight Sun release. Was there anyone hoping that it was going to be The Host instead? Because I saw a lot of posts, quite a few posts saying that they were hoping it was going to be a sequel to The Host, which again I haven't read. Would anyone recommend that to me? Is that a good read, The Host? But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this release. And let me know what your thoughts were on my commentary. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And if you have, don't forget to press that notification bell so you know when my next video is dropping. I'm not sure when my next book review is going to be. I actually did do a review for 50 Shades of Grey. And I'm not sure when I'm going to drop that. But it will be coming. Nonetheless, I'm still going to cop that book. So in August, think of me. Till next time, guys. Bye.